This is a walkthrough of the first Access exam. We open up the appropriate file and we'll choose Enable List Content. You see here's the Books table and Products table. We choose Options, Enable List Content, and then we will create using table design. And the first field we want is a Social Security number, which will take the default data type of text. Next up is last name. Then first name. Then date hired. And then salary. Now, these are not supposed to be text. Date hired is supposed to be date time, and salary is supposed to be currency. More than the Social Security number is supposed to be the primary key, so you click over here to select the whole row and you say primary key. The Social Security number is supposed to have an input mask. So here on the bottom we have field properties. We choose input mask, this ... and you go through the wizard. Oh, this is supposed to be called employees. We go through the wizard and we'll choose the Social Security number as the default, and then we say finish, and here we have the input mask. We're supposed to set the required fields for Social Security number, last name, and first name to yes. So required yes, last name required yes, first name required yes, and then we save. We can close the table now. Here we have the employees table, and we'll open it in datasheet view. And then over here we can type in specific numbers, specific values. This is not actually, this table isn't really used in other questions. I'm going to just put in and some date, whatever the date it said in the test, and the salary of 2,000, and the salary, let's say 50,000 or something. Whatever it says in the test, and you continue, you go to the next one, and you put in the appropriate numbers, and so on and so forth. So that's the first question on the test, to fill in the data on the employees table. Next we're going to create a form using the form wizard, and all of the questions that the wizard will ask are specified here in the question. So we go here to create. We want to create a form. See, it said create a form. So to get the form wizard is under more forms. And what's table? The table is the products table. The fields we want are product ID, product name, and unit price. Product name, product ID, and unit price. And it says columnar, and the style is supposed to be paper, which is currently selected. That's good. And the title for the form is going to be product list. And we say finish, and here we have the form, which we can then close. Okay, so now we have the product list. Next up, create a report using the report wizard. So we go to create report wizard. And the table we need is the books table. So we choose the books table, which fields author, year, list price, publisher. Author, year, list price, publisher. Any grouping levels? No. So we just go to next. And we want is to be the year in descending order, followed by the list price in ascending order. So year in ascending order, followed by list price. And to get a descending, you click on this ascending button, it'll say descending instead. Choose next. We want it to be tabular, we want it to be portrait. Choose next. The civic style, so over here is civic. And the title of it is book list. So book list. And we can preview this report, and here's what it looks like. Now on to the queries. first query, list all the books that are published by Prentice Hall using title, year, list price, and publisher, etc. So the first thing we're going to do in each of these cases is we're going to launch the query wizard. So query wizard, simple query wizard, and we first ask what table we want. We want the books table. Which fields do we want from the books table? Title, year, list price, publisher. Title, year, list price, publisher. It's always going to be a detail query here. And then we specify the title is going to be Prentice Hall Books. Now, as I mentioned in class, sometimes it actually says Prentice Hall with a dash, sometimes with a space, but they wanted us to just look for Prentice Space Hall. So we're going to modify the query design, go to finish here. The publisher should be Prentice Space Hall. It'll automatically put the quotation marks for me. So if I run this, you see here's all the things by Prentice Hall. If instead I wanted to query with a wildcard, I could type in Prentice Hall. That would match both the dash and the space, and then it'll automatically add for me the word like and put the quotation marks around this. And if I would run this, you see here I have Prentice Hall, and here I have these last two are Prentice Hall. So either way, one of the things we need to do is we need to sort in descending order according to list price. So here's list price. We sort it in descending order. And now the query is finished, so we save it, and we're done. We want to make all of these changes in design view. We don't want to be making them in datasheet view using filters or things like that. Query 2. List all the books where the author begins with a G. So just to make clear, there's 3 different patterns that you could expect on a test, I would think. One is begins with, one is ends with, and one is contains. Begins with is going to be begins with a G is going to be G followed by star, where G is going to match the G and star is going to match the rest of it. If you want ends with, that would be a star, meaning match anything, and then you would put, let's say, the letter G at the end, and it matches exactly a G. Contains, you can have stars on both sides, and that should work there. So list all the books where the author begins with a G. So again, we go to create, query wizard, simple query wizard, and we want the table as books. What fields do we want? ISBN, title, author, year, list price. ISBN, title, author, year, list price, not the publisher. Go to next. It's going to be a detail query. The title of this is going to be authors beginning with a G. So we type that, authors beginning with a G. I'm going to just miswrite it here as authors beginning with an H in case you mess up. I'll show you how to fix it later. Really, we want the authors beginning with a G. So we're going to modify the query design, because as it stands, it's just going to give all authors. I'll finish here. We want only the things that begin with a G, only where the author begins with a G. That would be G star. And that's like G star. If I run this, you see here's like G star. I will close this now. Save the changes to design, sure. Now you see this is authors beginning with an H. I could always choose rename and fix the name of it later, so it's not something that's unfixable. One more point is that if we actually look at the books table, we have Maxwell Grease. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but the point is this author also begins with a G, so in theory, if we would want to match that also, we would say, okay, match both G star, like we had before, or star, which would match Maxwell, then a slash, then a G, and then star to match the rest of the name. So we can do that. Let's go over here to authors beginning with a G, and I'm going to go back to design view, and I'll put it on a separate line, so either like G star or also like star /G star, and that means that it contains a / and a G. It'll add the like, since it's on separate lines, is or. If I run this, you see I have this extra author, which begins with a G. I don't think that was what was intended when the question was asked, but anyway, this works. Let's just see if it was supposed to be sorted in any order. It is not, so that was query 2. We can close this now. Next, list all the books that are published after 1995. This is up to your discretion. whether this means greater than or equal to. I'm going to use greater than or equal to, or whose price is greater than $25. So we're going to start with the books table, and we're going to choose title, year, list, price, publisher. So create query wizard. It's going to be the books table, and the fields we want are title, year, list, price, publisher. Title, year, list, price, publisher. It's going to be a detail query. The name of it is going to be new books. We'll go directly to modify the query design, and we want after 1995. I'm going to write this as greater than or equal to 1995. We also say over here or. It's not and, it's or whose price is greater than $25. The price is the list price greater than $25. See, it's a separate line. I'm not putting a dollar sign or anything like that, no quotes, no anything. I run this. You might be surprised at what you get here, but it shouldn't be surprising, even though these are before 1995. See, 1993, 1992, it's an or query, so the price is greater than $25, so that's why it would show up. We also want to sort the query in descending order according to the published date. The published date is the year, so we will sort this in descending order. And here we have in descending order. We close this, save the changes, and now we have our third query. Our fourth one, list all the products whose units are in order is equal to 0 and whose unit price is between $50 and $100. So create, you go to query wizard, a simple query wizard. In this case, it's going to be the products table. What fields do we want? Product name, unit price, units on order. Product name, unit price, which is the last one, and then units on order. I'll double click it in that order so that it'll show up in the eventual query results in that order. Again, a detail query. We'll modify the query design, and what we want here is I didn't name it the right thing. I just called it product query. Okay, I'll fix that later. But we want that the units on order is equal to 0. Units on order is 0. And since we say over here and, you see and whose unit price, so that means that this is also supposed to be true. Between $50 and $100 is the unit price. Between 50 and 100, and I showed other ways in class of getting the same results, but this should work. No sorting or anything like that, so that should work. We run this, and we get these two results. You should get the same two results if you did this correctly, whichever way you did it. That's the end of the first practice test.